The emergency session of the Galaxy Council had been called within hours of receiving humanity's formal declaration. Ambassador Zephyrian of the Altarian Republic clutched the datapad with trembling appendages, reading the message for the 100th time. The words hadn't changed, but their implications grew more terrifying with each reading. "This cannot be real," whispered Council Prime Vexithara, her usually composed Nexarian features twisted in disbelief. "No species has ever voluntarily withdrawn from the Council. It's unprecedented." The massive chamber that housed representatives from over 3,000 civilizations buzzed with panicked chatter in countless languages. Holographic displays showed real-time data streaming from across the galaxy, trade routes disrupting, defensive pacts crumbling, and economic markets in free fall. All because of a single devastating announcement from a relatively young species that had joined the Council barely 2 centuries ago. Ambassador Chen Wei's final transmission played once more on the central screen. The human appeared calm, almost serene, as she delivered what would later be known as the Severance Declaration. "Esteemed members of the Galaxy Council," her recorded voice echoed through the chamber, "humanity hereby formally withdraws from all treaties, accords, and agreements established under Council authority. Effective immediately, Earth and all human colonies are declaring complete independence from galactic governance." The recording paused as Chen Wei's expression hardened. "We have discovered certain irregularities in the Council's treatment of developing worlds. We cannot, in good conscience, remain part of an organization that systematically exploits emerging civilizations under the guise of protection and guidance." Council Prime Vexthara had heard these accusations before, but, coming from humanity, the Council's greatest military asset, they carried unprecedented weight. She gestured frantically to her advisors. "Status report on human military assets," she demanded. Defense Coordinator Krillthak, a massive reptilian being from the Saurian hegemony, activated his holographic display. The data that appeared sent ripples of fear throughout the chamber. "All human fleets have withdrawn from joint operations. 73 strategic outposts have been evacuated. Most concerning, Prime, is that they've taken their defensive technologies with them. The quantum shields, the nova cannons, the dimensional warfare capabilities." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber. The Zephyrian delegate stood abruptly, his crystalline form refracting the chamber's lights in agitated patterns. "You're saying they've left us defenseless against the Void Swarm threat?" Zephyrian's voice cracked with barely contained panic. "Their fleets were the backbone of our outer rim defenses." The truth was even worse than they realized. Humanity hadn't just provided military muscle to the Council. They had been the innovators, the problem solvers, the species that somehow found solutions where others saw impossibility. Their departure left gaps that couldn't be filled by simply reassigning other species to human roles. Trade Commissioner Lyranis activated her own display, showing cascading economic failures across multiple sectors. The humans controlled 17% of all interstellar trade routes. Their merchant fleets carried 43% of critical medical supplies to outer colonies. Without their logistics networks, we're looking at supply shortages within weeks. But it was the intelligence report that truly sent the chamber into chaos. Intelligence Chief Morden, speaking in hushed tones, revealed what their spy networks had discovered about humanity's true capabilities. "Our operatives have uncovered evidence of human research facilities that were never disclosed to the Council. Apparently, they've been developing technologies we didn't even know existed. Temporal manipulation devices, reality-altering weapons, artificial intelligence that makes our best quantum computers look like primitive calculators." The revelation struck the assembly like a physical blow. For 2 centuries, the Council had believed they understood humanity's capabilities. They had been wrong. Emperor Draxus of the warrior caste leaned forward, his scarred face grave with concern. "Are you suggesting the humans have been holding back?" "Not just holding back," Morden replied grimly. "According to our intelligence, humanity has been intentionally limiting their technological contributions to the Council. They've been operating at perhaps 20% of their actual capacity." The silence that followed was deafening. 3,000 civilizations, many of them ancient beyond human comprehension, realized they had been patronizing a species that had been quietly surpassing them all. Ambassador Chen Wei's final words from the recording echoed through the chamber. "We leave you with this warning. The galaxy is about to become a much more dangerous place. Not because humanity intends to threaten anyone, but because we will no longer be protecting you from threats you don't even know exist. The Council has grown complacent under our shield. That shield has now been withdrawn." As if summoned by her words, emergency alarms began blaring throughout the station. Long-range sensors had detected something approaching from the void between galaxies. Something vast and malevolent that had been held at bay by human deep space monitoring stations. The void swarm had returned, and humanity was no longer standing guard. Council Prime Vexithara stared at the tactical display showing the approaching threat. For the first time in millennia, the Galaxy Council faced a crisis they couldn't solve through committee negotiation or political maneuvering. They needed warriors, innovators, and protectors. They needed humanity. But humanity was gone, vanished, into the cosmic dark, leaving behind only their parting message and the terrible realization that the galaxy had never truly known the species that had kept them safe for 2 centuries. As panic spread through the chamber and emergency protocols activated across 1,000 worlds, one question echoed in every mind present. What were the humans really capable of? And what had they been protecting the galaxy from all along? The answer they suspected was something the Council was woefully unprepared to face alone.